What's my sexual preference have to do with a loan? And the customer can say, I don't want to answer. But then the bank you're requiring the bank to tell you that they wouldn't answer. And all of this data is going to go to your agency. And we don't have the slightest idea how you're going to use it, except you say you're going to publish it.
Okay, did you just see that? Stay with me, because what you just watched is only the tip of the iceberg. That was Senator John Kennedy putting CFPB Director Rohit Chopra on the spot in real time. And Chopra could not answer a straight question. Not one. Kennedy asked him simple, direct questions, and Chopra dodged every single one. Here is what gets me. This is the man running an agency that holds sensitive financial data on millions of Americans. The same agency that just had a data breach. The same agency that wants to know your sexual preference before your local bank gives you a business loan. Let that sink in. We're about to watch the full exchange, and I promise you it only gets worse for Chopra. Kennedy does not let up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button because this is exactly what we do on this channel. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chopra, for being here. You just had a data breach at your agency, is that correct?
We have an insider threat that transferred on an unauthorized basis some emails to their personal email account.
And you were in charge when this happened?
Of course, correct? Yes.
Okay. And this wasn't an attack from outside your agency. It came from inside of your agency. Is that correct?
That's right. Our systems were not penetrated. It was not a hack in that way, but we had an employee who worked for us who sent those emails.
The data for 256,000 consumers was breached. Is that correct?
Yeah, we looked through the emails. But
is my number correct?
I believe that's right. Yes, but it was not their. It was not any social security number, birth dates, any of that.
It was their data, though, right?
It was the institution's data, but it had their name, so that's important, and it's a huge problem.
Yeah, it is. You didn't tell the customers that this happened to the consumers for 2 months. Is that correct?
Well, we did not have the contact information for them, so we had to work with institutions to figure out who to contact, and we wanted to work in partnership.
But you didn't tell them for 2 months?
Well,
is that correct?
We started the notifications, I believe, last month, but again, we did not know the contact information for them. All we had was certain data elements, and we followed the cybersecurity OMB guidance to make sure that
you can understand, can you not, why consumers might be a little concerned about you having their information. Is that correct?
Oh, of course. The issue of protecting personal data.
Let me ask you about Section 1071, your rule on small business data collection. Under your proposed rule, when a bank loans money to a small businesswoman or a small businessman, you would require the bank to ask that customer first about the customer's race. Is that right?
So just to be clear, the proposal you reference, that has been changed since and has now into the final. The congressional requirement, and we are under a court order, requires race.
Don't filibuster me, Mr.
No, it does require race.
Just answer my questions, okay? Is your rule going to require banks to ask the customer about their race?
So that is in this.
No?
That is in the statute. And
about their race, or is your rule going to require the bank to ask the customer about their ethnicity?
So just to be clear, in the sample form, it allows the borrower to self-identify or refuse.
Just answer my question.
No, I'm trying to be clear.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Your rule would require a bank to ask the question of a small business person, what's your race? What's your ethnicity? What's your sexual preference? Are you gay? Are you a woman? Now that's you can bubble wrap this all you want, but that's what your rule does. Now the customer, particularly in a small town, is going to go, whoa, what's my sexual preference have to do with the loan? And the customer can say, I don't want to answer. But then the bank you're requiring the bank to tell you that they wouldn't answer. And all of this data is going to go to your agency. And we don't have the slightest idea how you're going to use it, except you say you're going to publish it.
Well, we will not get any names at all.
But you're going to have data sets so that if it's possible. You can't tell me it's not possible to have this information known. Why do you want all this information?
I don't.
Why do you want to know what a small business woman's sexual preference is?
Okay, that's a mischaracterization.
No, it's not.
Of it. Yeah, it is. We
No,
have
it's not.
congressional objectives.
No, it's not.
We had to implement it. People can self-identify. There is no personal
Why do you
information
want to know what a small business woman, let's say in a town of 20,000 people, going to her local bank to borrow money? Why do you want to know what her sexual preference is? What business is that of yours?
We sought to implement what the congressional
What business
requirements
is that of
are.
yours? What a small businesswoman does in her bedroom? Who appointed you Pope?
Again, people are able to self-identify if they wish.
You're
to
making
refuse,
them.
They can. We are not making them.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
And
It's
if they
very
don't
clearly-
answer, the bank has got to tell you, and we have no idea how you're going to use this information.
Well, I'm
can't-
happy to
Director
meet with you
Chopra,
about it further.
Director
That's
Chopra.
not. I don't believe that's an.
Director
can't
Chopra, please.
assure us-
Senator Kennedy, Director Chopra, answer one more time, and then I turn it to Senator Warner, who is on.
Am I
Just
over,
like
am I over again?
Yeah, you're way over again, and I always let you, but I'm not going to let you go 3 minutes over with the same question 8 times, Senator.
Well, if
Director
you'd
Chopra.
answer it,
So
I
just
would-
like,
Chopra.
just like the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, there's other ways where there's requirements from Congress to collect data. In this situation, we took a lot of feedback to try and make it less intrusive, specifically based on the concern you're raising. There will not be individual consumer names sent. We can talk further about it, but we tried our best to implement the congressional directive faithfully and consider all of these issues.
Now you have seen the whole thing. That was a masterclass from John Kennedy. Let's break it down. First, the data breach. 256,000 consumers had their data exposed. Not by a foreign hacker or a sophisticated cyber attack. By one of Chopra's own employees. Someone on the inside walked out with sensitive consumer data, and the CFPB waited 2 months to tell anybody. Chopra's excuse was that they didn't have contact information for the affected consumers. But this is the CFPB. Consumer protection is their entire job. Not knowing how to reach the people you are supposed to protect is not an excuse. That is a confession. Then Kennedy gets to the Section 1071 rule, and this is where it gets truly outrageous. Under this rule, when a small business owner walks into their local bank for a loan, the bank has to ask about their race, their ethnicity, and their sexual preference. To get a business loan, Kennedy asked Chopra over and over again, why do you need to know that? What does a small businesswoman's personal life have to do with whether she gets a loan? Chopra never answered it. Instead, he hid behind Congress. We were just implementing the statute. That might fly in a law school classroom, but not here. Kennedy was not asking who told you to do it. He was asking why you think it is okay. Chopra never once addressed that. The opt-out argument is just as weak. Chopra kept saying borrowers can choose not to answer. But Kennedy nailed it. If the borrower says no, the bank still has to report that they refused. So that information goes back to the CFPB either way. That is not a choice. That is the illusion of one. And nobody can tell us how this data is going to be used once it reaches Washington. Chopra certainly could not. All he said was that individual names would not be published. But data sets can be cross-referenced, analyzed, and misused. We are just supposed to trust the same agency that took 2 months to notify 256,000 people their information was compromised? Kennedy said what millions of Americans were thinking. This rule is invasive, it is overreaching, and the American people deserve better than a director who cannot answer a straight question after 8 tries. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this video opened your eyes, share it because more people need to see this. You said, spot and pick 10 heated or controversial moments in the video and give me a controversial clickbait title suggestions each for this video. Make them savage and